So, continuing on our series of troubleshooting with EnergyPlus out errors, eplusout.err file, we are looking at the next warning. It says CheckConvexity, surface 321, vertex 2 is colinear with previous and next. And then it goes on to say CheckConvexity for thermal zone 6. It references that surface. It says it's non-convex. And it lists the vertices that are having the problems. And this looks related. It says surface 321 has one colinear points that have been removed. And CheckConvexity, the vertex point has been reprocessed as sides equal to 4. And it even goes on to say GetSurfaceData. There are one coincident collinear vertices. These have been deleted unless the deletion would bring the number of surface sides to less than 3. Explicit details on each problem surface. Use the output diagnostics to display extra warnings. So, what does it say? What is this? So let's take a look at surface 321. And we'll just search for 321. Right here. And it is not readily apparent what that is. So we can select the face and select all connected. Okay, so it's part of this zone. So let's edit this zone and search again for the surface 321. Here. Okay, here we go. So this is right here. Appears to be this surface right here. And that switched to 25. So we've selected 25. Let's hide 25. And okay, 321. So this appears to be overlapping with another surface. And it says the vertex is colinear with previous and next. So if we do unhide and we search for 321 and hide 321, we can see that it appears to be overlapping with this surface 25. So I think what we need to do is we need to delete this surface 25 and recreate it. So we've got surface 25 there, surface 321 there. And now those surfaces are separated. So that should fix our problem. We'll go ahead and save the model. Revert to the saved version. And run the simulation. So the simulation is completed successfully. Let's go back to our error out file and go ahead and reload it. And that looks to have cleared up that issue there. So that is how you fix the issue of overlapping vertices. So the next error we have, it appears to be a severe error, and as we discussed previously, severe errors, while they won't always cause your program to crash, they should be taken seriously. So, for thermal zone 7, it is not possible to calculate the volume from the surrounding surfaces, so either provide the volume value or define all of the surfaces to fully enclose the zone. And it says the zone's not fully enclosed. And we've already discussed this error before. Zone volume was not calculated and an error exists. And it looks like it's possible that it's related to this surface 112. It has an edge that was used only once, and it's not an edge on another surface. And we've discussed that error in the previous episode. So let's take a look at these two surfaces, 112 and 243. So it's associated with this thermal zone 7. Yes, thermal zone 7. And if we look at the surface 112 and 243, surface 112 should be on, okay, right here. So again, same problem. It looks like we're missing a surface. So the best thing is to possibly just delete these and redo those. So we've got a separate surface 212 here. We've got a surface 112 here, 243 and 111. And that was 112 and 243. So that's how we would solve that error. And again, it was because this surface was missing, and so the warning was saying that the zone was not fully enclosed. So now that we fixed that error, that should solve the problem. Save the model, revert to saved, and click run. So it's run successfully, and we can go back to our error out file and refresh it, and that solves that error. So check used constructions. There are 5 nominally unused constructions in input. Each unused construction is shown. So we have covered this in previous videos, but we can go back over this again. So this is saying that you've got a bunch of extra materials or constructions in your model, and they're not actually being utilized in the model. So let's take a look at this. It says construction interior ceiling is not being used. So we can go back to our constructions, and we can see interior ceiling. So what is this interior ceiling? How is this being assigned? Well, if we had a multi-story, if we had a multi-story building, say we had another space right above this. The ceiling in between these two spaces is considered an interior ceiling. But we actually don't have any of that. We don't have a second floor on this building, so the only thing that we have is a ground floor, which is in the gray, and we have a roof, an exterior roof. So we don't have any interior ceilings. So we can actually just delete the interior ceiling from our construction set on this. Likewise, we don't have any interior doors. So what is an interior door? An interior door would be, for example, if we had, a door that was right here, and it led to the inside on the other side to a door that was connected to the adjacent space. But we don't have an interior door, right? So you would have to create doors on both of those spaces. So there would be a door on this space, and there would be a door on this space, and that would be inside the building. But we don't have that. So what we can do is we can delete that interior door. And that is on our construction set as well. Interior subsurfaces, constructions, doors, interior doors. So we can delete this right here. Interior floor, same thing. We don't, like I said, we don't have a second story, so we don't have an interior floor. And again, same situation, but in this instance, it would be the floor of, for example, this space here. The floor of this space would be considered an interior floor because it's communicating with the space below it. So we can delete that construction as well, interior floor. So if we look at scrolling up, interior surface constructions, interior floor. So we can delete that. We don't need that. And then interior partition. So what is an interior partition? An interior partition is used for simulating solar light, or rather exterior light coming into the office, and usually from the sun. And the light goes through the window and it strikes the floor, or it strikes furniture, or it strikes, for example, interior partitions. So if we had, this space right here, and right now there's nothing in it, but you can model something like an interior partition. You can. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah. Well, we'll just draw a rectangle here. Let's go overhead, and we'll change the camera to perspective, and so say we had like a cubicle here. And we would have to extend it up like that. So, for example, if we had like a cubicle like that, right now it is showing this is a window. I don't know why this was assigned a window. probably because I drew it on the floor, and so it was thinking it was like a skylight or some sort of window. But what we can do is redraw it as a partition. And then we can drop it back into our building. So yeah, that would be like a cubicle. And so you would assign this as an interior partition construction. And the only thing that EnergyPlus does with these is it simulates the absorption and reflection of sunlight in the room. And you can actually assign this, the construction is assigned as an interior partition, and whatever this interior partition is made up of, if it's made up of wood, for instance, EnergyPlus will account for the thermal mass of the partition. So, if sunlight is shining on this for an hour, it would gain heat, and then an hour later it would re-radiate heat into the room. So that can have a small effect on your simulation. So if you're doing interior partitions, you would do that. But we don't have any interior partitions, so we can delete that. So again, go to construction sets, scroll down to the bottom, other constructions, and interior partition. We're going to delete this. And then interior windows. Same thing, just like I was saying with the interior door. If we had an interior window, for instance, instead of an interior door that communicated between one space and the other space, then that would be considered an interior window. And so we don't have any in this model, so we can delete the interior window. Tubular daylight domes and tubular daylight diffusers, those are all assigned interior windows. Fixed windows and operable interior windows. So we wouldn't have any of these interior window constructions. And so that covers those. So now that we've deleted those, we can save the model. And one last thing that we should do is go into constructions and go ahead and purge some of these. So these were the interior floors, interior ceilings. So we need to purge those from the model so that EnergyPlus doesn't have to process those. So you click the purge button down here, and that gets rid of those. You have to go through each category if you have those in there. And then same thing, go into materials and purge those. So some of those materials might get removed if they were associated with, for example, the interior windows and doors and interior ceilings. And now that that's all purged, we can go to the Run Simulation and click Run. And the simulation has run successfully. Let's go back to our eplusout.err file and reload it. And you can see that those errors have been removed. So the next thing that we can look at, it says warning, output meter, invalid key name, natural gas facility, not found. And it goes on to talk about invalid key name, district cooling facility, not found. output meter, invalid key name, district heating facility, not found. And it says output meter, meter file only, invalid key name, natural gas facility, not found. So these meters are saying that that there was a meter requested, but since there's no equipment that uses natural gas or district cooling or district heating in our model, it's saying that there's no data for that. So as soon as we add some piece of equipment to our model, for instance, if we have a thermal zone and we added a gas heating equipment to the thermal zone, so we could add a unit heater, a gas unit heater to the thermal zone. And then if we reran the simulation, this error would disappear because suddenly we have a piece of equipment that is using natural gas, and so these errors again are they pop up all the time. It's not a big deal. It's just saying that you don't have equipment in your model that is using those meters. So the last warning we have is output table monthly requested with simulation control run simulation for weather file run periods set to no. So output table monthly will not be generated. So what is this saying? It's saying that we requested an output table monthly, but because we are not running the simulation for the weather file run period, it cannot generate that data. So what is a monthly? What is a monthly report? So if you go to the simulation settings tab and you can scroll down to output table summary reports, and if you have this enabled, enable all summary report, you should be able to go to your results summary tab and see the energy consumption and all sorts of metrics on a monthly basis. But that wasn't included in the report. And the reason it was not included in the report is because we're not running the simulation for the weather file. We are only running the simulation for the peak load period. So if we go back to simulation settings and go to simulation control, you can see that we only have it selected to run the simulation for the sizing periods. So what are those sizing periods? Those sizing periods, if we go to the site tab, the sizing periods are the design days. So that's the peak days for cooling, for dehumidification, and for heating during the winter. So it's not actually running it for a simulation for the entire year. It's only running it for a simulation for the design days. So if we go back to simulation settings, go to simulation control, and then run the simulation for the weather file run periods, that will generate all of our data for all of the months, and that will be output on the monthly tables, and so that will get rid of this error here. So if we click run, And we can see that the simulation has completed successfully. And in fact, you can see that the simulation has simulated all of the months. So December, November, October, all the way back to January. So let's go back to our eplusout.err file and see if this output table monthly is being generated now. We'll reload it. And of course, now that we've run a full simulation, there are additional warnings. But the key is to find if that output table monthly is being generated. And it really looks like it is, because we have all of these warnings being generated for monthly output reports that we don't have this equipment in our model. So that's it for today. We will continue to troubleshoot these warnings next time. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.